Part 27. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 264. The emperor was very angry. To break the heart for the treasury's silver, you are good, just change the corruption and teach the corruption. Ministers. Feeling sad, uncomfortable, it's still their minister's fault. Emperor Tianwang Laozi is big. No matter how many people oppose, that's useless. In fact, the emperor liked this so-called ancient environment very much. The ministers had not been able to appease their injured careful livers, and the emperor began to be a demon again. The emperor who saved a lot of money, he began to clean up the chapel, joined the ritual department with the queen, and abolished many official positions. Up and down the Song dynasty, for a period of time people trembled. Everyone heard that the emperor said that they would save money, and they couldn't sleep well at night. It is true that this emperor is too capable of producing moths. Not only did a lot of official positions be abolished, but also the agricultural and industrial workers were promoted. The emperor didn't understand these. It didn't matter. An expert queen was on the side. The two joined together to make the officials in the court as busy as possible. Fortunately, in the later days, everyone became accustomed to such days. The only thing that made the ministers less accustomed was that although the emperor and the empress were affectionate, they never gave birth. The ministers felt that the emperor and the emperor were too busy and too much in charge, so they had no time and energy to give birth. So they are very conscious. As soon as the emperor and the emperor have any action, they will immediately take over the task and arrange for it. Instead of asking for promotion and getting rich, they ask the emperor to go to the bed and hurry up, so that they can make a prince. They completely dismissed the idea of letting the emperor Nafii give birth to a baby. There was no way. The emperor was so stubborn and wanted to marry a concubine to earn a large amount of dowry. Even if someone wanted to marry his daughter to the emperor, he could not afford dowry. They can only step back and ask the queen for help. However, this desire is about to fail. The queen's belly has not been able to bulge. In addition to the prince's affairs, which is a major worry for the ministers, there is also the emperor's pomp. Nowadays, the state treasury is becoming more and more abundant, and the Song dynasty is an unprecedented prosperity. However, the emperor's pomp is getting smaller and smaller. Every time the foreign guests are met, the ministers are inwardly looking for the gorgeous dress that the emperor of his own family wears. The treasury is so much money, why can't the emperor and queen show off their wealth to the outside world? We have money now, we really don't have any money. How luxury can come? Of course, no eggs are useful. The countless ministers have been brought back by the emperor, and they can only suffer silently in their hearts. Compared to the pain of the ministers, the emperor felt nothing. He felt that he was a perfect existence in his life. Unfortunately, it's just a lifetime. And he didn't live long. I was thinking about living a few days longer, but the beauty was in her arms and looked at her mouth every day. He took a sip of his weak body, a spit of his spirit, and a few sips, and within a few times he was left with alive. This cannibalistic goblin was really incredible. He was so relaxed, but she was stunned by her. Thinking that there was an Emperor Chu beside him who looked at this little fairy with jealousy, always thinking about prying at the corner of him. There was only one breath of Emperor Song. When he thought that if he had to hang up, he would have to wear a green hat. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 265. Yan Ji has been serving at the bed for half a month. The emperor was about to die, and every time he thought he was going to die. What else can this guy put up with? It's been over 100 years, and it's so happy, now it's so uncomfortable to have more air and less air. Of course, these words will not be said. She is now a queen of affection and affection, talk less and do more things, waiting for this guy to hang before spreading joy. Emperor Song couldn't stand it anymore. After sobering from the drowsiness again, he finally realized the reality that he was about to hang up. He prepared a pot of wine and planned to have another drink with the queen. He half lay on the bed, looking at the still beautiful queen. The woman who pours wine slightly, Wu Fa is scattered, revealing half of the white tenderness around the neck, 10 fingers and arms as thin as white jade between the wrists. It was such an inconspicuous gesture, but she could also see a natural and charming charm from her. Throughout his life, he really liked her skin. She poured the wine, but did not lift it, but looked up and looked at him. She had a soft voice and called him gently, "Your Majesty." He interrupted her, "Call me son." She was as good as a stream and called him, Zion. But did not continue to say. With her black and white eyes, she looked at him that way, as if to look into his heart. In that eye, there was no half resentment, only helplessness and grievances. He was afraid she guessed that he had found something for her and let her go out for a long time. The staff who arranged the funeral were also his own guard. He thought that what he did could be considered unconscious. But looking at her face, he thought that she must have guessed. Yeah, she's so smart, how could she not guess? He met her gaze and suddenly had such a guilty conscience. However, it is only one point. "Junjun," he called, "drinking this bar with you." She moved her lips, but did not speak again, but instead bowed her head, handed a glass of wine to his hand, and took the other glass in her own hand. She didn't raise a glass, still staring at him indifferently, the grievance in her eyes gradually became confused. She whispered softly, and the mosquito called him and asked him, "Zion, why? Why?" What he feared most was that she asked why. He certainly couldn't say that he didn't want to be cuckolded and didn't want him to die like this, but she could continue to live a smart life. He looked at her with a deep expression of affection, "I want to live with Junjun and die with the same point. I don't want to be born the same year, but I want to die the same day." He knew it was very unlikely that such words would move her. So after a few coughs, he grabbed her hand tightly and begged to say, "Junjun, when you are alive, you can give you whatever you want. Now I am going to die, this right in this world, you can give up, but you can't bear to you. It's too cold and dark in the coffin. I want to hug you. You are here, even if I die, I have no regrets." Yan Ji bowed his head and kissed his brows, as if moved, murmured, "Zion, I can get you to like it, it is a blessing in my life." Was she relieved? He felt happy and corrected her with a smile, "It's not just 3 lives, but one after another." She reached out, intertwined his arms, put the wine glass to her lips, and she still stared at him, both of whom looked at each other affectionately. Looking up, the glass of wine was drunk. She turned the cup upside down and smiled at him. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again." Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 266. She laughed, she really looked good. There are so many beauties, but only she is the real one who can take away the soul with a smile. He looked at her like this, and gradually became foolish. In the next life, he will treat her better and better. The emperor raised his glass and slowly drank the wine in the glass. The spicy wine went into the lungs, and he could not breathe even when he was burning, but he felt sweet in his heart. Junjun, he still wanted to speak, but she reached out and put her finger to his lips, interrupting his words. "Your Majesty, in this life, Junjun really likes you." Her fingers slowly traced his eyebrows along his lips, and the tenderness between the eyebrows and gentle sunlight wrapped him, making him happy physically and mentally, to meet such a majesty. She sighed lowly, and said, "Your Majesty, Junjun doesn't want to die now, he doesn't want to die like this." The emperor's eyes shone. With a loose hand, the glass fell to the ground and made a crisp sound. But his dark guard, exclusive to the emperor, did not appear. He already knew that she might not drink that glass of wine, so she buried her second move. What he didn't expect was that although she drank, her drink was replaced by her. The foolproof second move actually fell off the chain at this critical moment. Yanj bowed his head and kissed the emperor's lips. "Your Majesty, your royal dark guards, they all listen to my orders now. I changed this wine to a wine that is good for your body. I don't want to die like this, but I like you too, and I hope you can live with me. Your Majesty, don't give up on yourself. We have the best doctors. You will be all right and you will be fine." Her voice was soft, as if there was honey on the tip of her tongue, and the words she spoke made people drunk. For a moment he was really moved. But in his heart he knew very well that the woman's slyness and treacherousness, the woman's ruthlessness and heartlessness. Maybe she liked it so much that she never had any trace in her heart. He reached out and squeezed her wrist tightly. He really wanted to jump on her and choke her immediately. But, after all, the energy is gone. Simply kiss her on the lips. With the last bit of strength, bit her lip. The blood smell spread in his mouth. He thought she would struggle, but she reached out and put his hand on his back, holding him so that he could bite her easier. This woman, this woman. The little bit in his heart grew more and more uncomfortable. He let out, and wanted to ask her if she really liked him. However, I find this question ridiculous. All are acting on the scene, he is not willing, but it is a little inferior. Jun, he looked at her, his eyes gradually dwindling, his voice gradually lowered. "I really like you so much. Really, I really want to hang up with her." She took 99 steps with him. Why did this last step stop? How can he be willing and not hate? Feeling that the person in his arms gradually lost his breath, Yan Ji slowly put him on the bed. She stepped back, staring at the skeletal man lying on the bed, who was afflicted with pain. Just as thin as this, he was still lying there like a jade. What a shame. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 267. Yanj and Song Emperor have no children. After Emperor Song died, Yan Ji took out the widow left by Emperor Song and ascended to the throne. The superior woman is almost a matter of course. Of course, there are countless ministers who are desperately opposed, and there are countless people who want to pull off the words. However, it is all useless. Yanj has accumulated prestige on the court for many years. Many ministers have been pulling her up. She has high prestige among the people, and she is a fortress built by her. She ascended the throne as the empress, and countless people opposed it, but she also supported it. 100 days after Emperor Song died, Emperor Chu came to congratulate him with a gift and asked for a marriage in public. He wanted to marry Yanj with the dowry of Chu country. Song officials were jerking. If the words were male, if the Emperor Chu was a woman, they would definitely support it. But now, even if this big cake is seductive enough, they can't agree with conscience, and then put a green hat on their own emperor. Fortunately, the emperor immediately refused. The first emperor said that when he married me, the first emperor had one life and two people. Although the first emperor took a step first, he could keep his promise. However, Chu emperor persevered. He proposed on the first anniversary of the death of the emperor, and on the second anniversary. On the third anniversary, he simply did not want the mother-in-law in the harem. The person who sleeps. Even the ministers were touched, and they persuaded Yanj to work together to put a green hat on Xiandi. It is estimated that if the emperor was in the spirit of heaven, he would crawl out of the coffin board. However, Yanj still talked about credibility, and she resolutely refused. The winner of life has become such a point for her that a man is a gadget and it is troublesome to ask for it. Her goal now is to build a homeland and be a well-known and praised female emperor. After all, she managed to kill one, and she didn't want to find another one for herself. After Yanj was older, she picked up a boy in the royal family, and when she got old, she gave the boy the Zen position. She has had a great life. After his death, he returned to the system space of the fans. The first thing to do is to look inside. Her small body has grown again, this time growing into a thin and weak little poplar-like existence, of course, just a light pole commander, only one tree branch, without a leaf. Can a tree without leaves be considered a tree? This made her joy in the bottom of her heart become melancholy. The chicken set aside, the geek system will also collect the source of passers-by souls who have a good opinion of you and thank you for dade. Although there are few, the accumulation is small, so this time your gain is very good. Wanting to rise quickly, while fulfilling her host's wishes in the plane, if she can become a life-singing and grateful winner, she will get more soul sources. Yanj finally understands the cheating rules of the geek system. The brick has not been upgraded yet, and Yanj has no hope of this brick at all. She asks the chicken, is the powerful one blackened? This is really a sad topic. The collected the flapping wings, and although his neck was raised high, his head dropped a bit in frustration. I think you are afraid to lose this gamble. Okay. So that guy is black again? Although it has not been blackened to the 4th level, I think it will soon. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 268. After Yanj entered the plane this time and merged with the host's memory, he didn't know what he should do. The identity of her host this time is really incredible. She could not accept the identity of the host even with one of her toes. The chick comforted her, how good this is, everyone loves you, and everyone treats you as the ancestor. The sound was rather gloating, probably because I felt that this time I couldn't sleep. The words are silent. She was really gloomy, but could only hold back. But I wasn't her character. I was so angry for 3 seconds. What kind of fandom is this? It's not human. Is this fanatic system out of order? Can you choose a new system now? Chicken, although the host is not a human, but the host is geeky, no one loves it, men, women, young or old. The geeky system is not faulty, but you need to broaden your knowledge. Words of song. Suddenly she couldn't find what she was looking for. Had to hate gritting. This time, not only the identity of the host is strange, but even the possibility of the host's wish fulfillment is more difficult. The words were silent, and for a long while there was no speech. It's a chicken, after all, a little guilty, and asked Yanj, what are you going to do this time? How to do? I want to swear a MMP can't swear a song that is completely violent. However, running away was useless, so she soon calmed down. The host's identity this time is Grandpa Zhangmao. It was a crumpled, wrinkled grandpa who had not seen the sun for a long time. As a geeky grandfather, Yan Ji has silently accepted this identity after being messy in the initial wind. There is nothing to be silent, because she has no mouth that can growl. As a grandfather with a source of soul and knowledge, the host is a very unique existence. After all, after the founding of the People's Republic of China, they can't become refined. All grandpas must be refined, and they have been destroyed by humanitarianism. The host can have spiritual knowledge, or because the host has followed a little goblin who became refined after the founding of the country, and then the goblin was split by thunder. Awareness. The gray host was lying in the grass and was almost swept into the trash by sanitation workers. Fortunately, a little girl named Zhao Xiaomei picked up the host. The little girl especially likes the host. This is the first like received by the host after he has spiritual knowledge, and therefore he has a deep memory. Zhao Xiaomei is a 12-year-old girl. Because she is a girl, her father does not like her, and her mother does not like her. In the host's memory, as long as Zhao Xiaomei returned home, she was either beaten by her father or stabbed by her mother. Zhao Xiaomei's only personal property is the host. Every day, she carefully takes Zhao Xiaomei, who hopes to touch the host, and sometimes she whispers to the host. Zhao Xiaomei is now in her 6th grade and will be on vacation soon. Now that she has a host, she wants to buy a train ticket with the host after the holiday, and then leave far away from this home where everyone does not love her. The host is redemption for Zhao Xiaomei, a hope to escape from the sea of suffering. But the day before the holiday, Zhao Xiaomei accidentally tore up the red skirt bought by the upstairs neighbor, Zhao Xiaomei's classmate and girl at the same table, Qin Yun. This is a birthday gift that Qin Yun's mother bought for Qin Yun. For this favorite red dress, Qin Yun has not played and watched TV this month, just to get a good test, so that her mother can buy the skirt for her. But now, the skirt is torn. Qin Yun burst into tears and asked Zhao Xiaomei to compensate her for her skirt. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 269. This skirt costs 128 yuan. Zhao Xiaomei's money for selling the waist and the host, Grandpa Mao, were enough to pay 10 yuan. She broke Qin Yun's skirt, and she should have paid for it, but when she thought of it, she lost it to Qin Yun. She had to save enough money to buy a train ticket, and she didn't know her age, and she would still be stopped by her parents during this time. In home violence, Zhao Xiaomei couldn't bear it. But do NT lose it, maybe Qin Yun will be beaten by his parents, and Qin Yun will be sad. Zhao Xiaomei didn't know what to do, she cried with Qin Yun. Qin Yun's grandmother came back, and after hearing this, she immediately took Zhao Xiaomei to talk to Zhao Xiaomei's parents. When Zhao Xiaomei heard this, she shuddered into a ball. If her parents knew it, she would kill her. Zhao Xiaomei gave all her savings to Qin Yun's grandma. Qin Yun's torn skirt was also hidden away by her. The host moved from Zhao Xiaomei's hand to Tan Yun. The elementary school is at the gate of the community, so every time I go to school and leave school, Qin Yun goes downstairs and shouts Zhao Xiaomei to go to school together. The next day Qin Yun went downstairs and called Zhao Xiaomei as usual. Not as usual when you knock on the door. Qin Yun thought Zhao Xiaomei had overslept. She knocked on the door louder and louder. After a long time, her mother opened the door with an impatient look. Zhao Xiaomei is ill and will not go to school today. How can you get sick? Although Qin Yun was puzzled, she didn't ask much because Zhao was impatient and she was impatient. She said goodbye to Zhao and went to school. At noon, Qin Yun bought a lot of delicious food and went to Zhao Xiaomei's house. She successfully persuaded her mother to pay for a red dress for her again, and Zhao Xiaomei paid her the money. She bought a lot of snacks to share with Zhao Xiaomei. The whole 100 yuan, she wanted to return to Zhao Xiaomei. Zhao's door still knocked for a long time. She thought that Zhao Xiaomei must be sick and sleeping, so she didn't hear the knock, so she knocked even louder. It wasn't Zhao Xiaomei who opened the door, but Dr. Zhao's father, who was drunk. Qin Yun didn't like Father Zhao, because Father Zhao was drinking alcohol every day. After drinking, he hit Zhao's mother and Zhao Xiaomei. Qin Yun's grandma told her to stay away from Zhao Xiaomei. Father Zhao opened the door and stared at Qin Yun. What knocked? It was noisy. Father Zhao's voice was loud, but he also blushed and had a thick neck, full of wine. Qin Yun took a step back in shock. She clutched her bag weakly and said, I'm looking for Xiaomi. Father Zhao turned around and entered the room. You wake her up and let her cook quickly. Mom gave birth to such a fortune and did not even make a meal. As he scolded, he turned on the TV while lying on the sofa in the living room. The volume of the TV was high and it was a singing program. Qin Yun was afraid of Zhao's father. He wanted to run back upstairs to his own house, but thought of Zhao Xiaomei who was ill again. After she paused at the door, she went into Zhao's house and ran towards the wall. The balcony where Zhao Xiaomei lived. The Zhao family is a one-bedroom and one-living house. Zhao's father gave Zhao Xiaomei a simple bed shed on the balcony. Zhao Xiaomei lived on the balcony. Opening the balcony door, Qin Yun saw Zhao Xiaomei lying in the corner at a glance. Zhao Xiaomei's body was covered with blood on her head and face, so there was no clean place. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 270. Zhao Xiaomei also had a piece of hair ripped off her scalp, exposing a large scalp with blood. Many injuries on her face seemed to have been burned with boiling water, and many of them were blurred in flesh and blood. She had tape on her mouth, her eyes closed, and she looked like a broken doll. Qin Yun was motionless. She was stunned. She didn't even know how she returned to her home. She was seriously ill and didn't even go to the final exam. She never saw Zhao Xiaomei again, and her parents deliberately did not mention it, probably because she was afraid of irritating her. But she still knew about Zhao Xiaomei's follow-up. One day at noon, she slumbered so much that she heard her grandma in the living room chatting with her neighbor. "It's about Zhao Xiaomei. Zhao Xiaomei is dead. It was killed by her mother. Her mother was arrested, and it is said that Zhao Xiaomei stole her money and bought clothes, so she wanted to teach her daughter not to have such a bad habit, but she did not expect her daughter to die so easily. But who can believe such a word?" Qin Yun would not believe it anyway. She always remembered what Zhao Xiaomei looked like that day. The mother of Zhao, who killed Zhao Xiaomei, has been sentenced to 7 years for manslaughter and forgiveness from her family. However, not only Zhao Xiaomei's mother, but also Zhao Xiaomei's father was sentenced. It is just that there are not as many Zhao Xiaomei's mothers as if they were sentenced to only 2 years. It is said that Zhao Xiaomei was abused and killed by Zhao's mother, which is not related to Zhao's father, but what Zhao's father did to Zhao Xiaomei is more beastly. It turned out that when Zhao Xiaomei was autopsied, Zhao Xiaomei not only had no good place on her body, but even her were severely torn. At first, the police thought that it was Mother Zhao who abused the child and poked her with something like a rolling pin. But at the time of the interrogation, after all, Zhao's mother was an ordinary person who couldn't bear the pressure and shook out things at home. When Zhao mother was born to Zhao Xiaomei, she was cut because of a major bleeding. Zhao's family valued her sons and daughters, and she was ridiculed by her mother-in-law since confinement. Father Zhao liked boys and became impatient with her. Later, she even scolded her for not being male or female, especially Dr. Zhao, who was drunk. Mother Zhao felt that the source of all this was Zhao Xiaomei, so she never liked the daughter. Later, Mother Zhao found out that Zhao's father had violated Zhao Xiaomei. She wanted to stop her, but was beaten by her father. She said that she was no longer male and female, and that this daughter could not be passed on to succeed him. This is called Fei Shui Buletin Lu Ren Tian. Mother Zhao acquiesced in this statement. But her heart was particularly unbalanced. Especially when she found out that Zhao father no longer frowns on Zhao Xiaomei, and often bought clothes for Zhao Xiaomei, she felt a crisis. This daughter has been fighting her since she was born. Not only did she not only lose her boy's womb, but she was also stupid. She lost the affection of her husband and mother-in-law. Zhao Xiaomei gave him a son in the future, and her mother's heart became more angry. She usually swears at Zhao Xiaomei, catching where she hits, and the bad words in her mouth are even worse. It was found that Zhao Xiaomei had stolen her money and bought a skirt, but she still did not admit it, and Zhao's mother happened to be beaten again by his father. Father Zhao still scolded her for being neither male nor female, but this time she also scolded her and divorced her. She's living this way. How can she live after divorce? If it weren't for Zhao Xiaomei, how could her life be like this? All of Zhao's resentment erupted. She wrapped Zhao Xiaomei's mouth with tape, and tortured Zhao Xiaomei most of the night. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 271. Zhao Mother's torture was not just a beating. She blanched with water, cut Zhao Xiaomei's meat with scissors, grabbed Zhao Xiaomei's hair and hit the wall, and even poked Zhao Xiaomei with a rolling pin and scolded her for being cheap. It wasn't until the middle of the night that Zhao's father returned drunk, and Zhao's mother went to wait for Zhao's father. He did not continue to beat Zhao Xiaomei. They both ignored Zhao Xiaomei. This kind of scolding is too common, and Zhao's mother didn't take it seriously. It wasn't until Qin Yun went that he realized Zhao Xiaomei's death. Outside, Grandma Qin wiped her tears and said that the Zhao family downstairs, Zhao's father, Zhao's mother, had to die. Because the first person who found out that Zhao Xiaomei's death was Qin Yun, neighbors in many neighborhoods recently talked to Grandma Qin, who loved to chat about the Zhao family. Grandma Qin's rhetoric has been repeated many times, but every time she avoids Qin Yun. If it weren't for the hotness in the house today, which would wake up Qin Yun, she would not have heard these details. In her mind, she remembered the moment when she saw Zhao Xiaomei last. Grandma Tan outside was still lamenting how poor the little girl Zhao Xiaomei was. In the room, Qin Yun listened to those words, and her brain hurt, but it hurt her heart more. She felt that her heart was really uncomfortable. She had a feeling that she couldn't breathe. Grandma Qin has never liked Xiaomei to come to her to play, and she did not like her to go to Xiaomei's house. Beauty is wink. Xiaomei is often beaten by Zhao's father, Mother Zhao, and often has no food. Sometimes she secretly gives Xiaomei snacks to tell her parents about Xiaomei's beatings. Grandma also says that she doesn't need to worry about other people's gossip. Now Xiaomei is dead. Everyone is talking about Xiaomei's death. Qin Yun reached out and touched the bottom of the bed, where the 100 yuan Zhao Xiaomei had paid her. She had bought other snacks and hadn't had time to share them with Xiaomei. The money that Xiaomei gave her left her 100. Xiaomei was killed by her mother for the $100. It's because of this 100. Qin Yun's fingers squeezed the 100 yuan tightly. If only she hadn't asked for the money. Mother Zhao has a bad temper and often hits Zhao Xiaomei. She also knows that she never thought about how Xiaomei gave her money at that time, and whether she would be hit by Zhao mother when she returned home. Why did she collect Xiaomei's money at that time? Just to buy snacks? She killed Xiaomei for snacks. Qin Yun was too young. The misery that Zhao Xiaomei had when she died gave her too much excitement. Later, she learned that Zhao Xiaomei's death had a direct relationship with her, which led to her never being happy after a serious illness. She felt that she had killed someone. She had killed Xiaomei. Father Qin and Mother Qin go to work every day. Grandma Qin has a big heart and doesn't think that Qin Yun's silence is a psychological problem. I just think that the girls are big and no longer bouncing, that is sensible. Qin Yun was having nightmares every day. The grandfather Mao, the host, was put in her diary by the pillow, and she woke up every night in the middle of the night to pinch the grandfather Mao. Sometimes, she would still mutilate herself, use a pencil-sharp knife to pull her arms, and poke her leg with a pen, as if this way, she can alleviate the pain of the snack. Winter clothes were so thick that no one realized that Qin Yun was masochistic. The host is in the hands of the two girls. The emotions of the two girls are too intense, so the host can really appreciate it. I realized the repressed hope of Zhao Xiaomei, and the repressed despair and guilt of Qin Yun. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 272. Qin Yun did not hesitate to seek death. When she grew up, she was excavated by scouts and entered the entertainment industry. In such a place in the entertainment industry, if you don't pay attention, you will embark on a crooked road. There are too many people and the pressure for competition is even greater. But Qin Yun is like the natural ingredients for this bowl of rice. Her melancholic temperament is loved by the public. Just the night after she played the role of a household name, she jumped out of her 38-story apartment and committed suicide. Until she committed suicide, the host was also warned by her. She made a hollow jade bracelet for the host, and the host rolled it into a roll and kept it around her neck. The host has only a little source of soul. When it first opened up, it was very simple. All emotions were blank. Its emotions are filled by Zhao Xiaomei and Qin Yun. Especially in the days when he followed Qin Yun personally for more than 10 years, his tiny soul source was nourished by Qin Yun, becoming more and more powerful and more dependent on Qin Yun. Others don't understand why Qin Yun will die in the career upswing. Some people say she was because of a broken love, some people said she was because she was betrayed by her boyfriend. Only the host knew that Qin Yun died because of Zhao Xiaomei. The elementary school classmates gathered, and the elementary class leader took out a diary that Zhao Xiaomei had left in the drawer of the classroom. The events of that year were so sensational that most people gathered together to talk about Zhao Xiaomei. In this diary of Zhao Xiaomei, she records the money she earns every day by selling garbage, and also writes the number of train tickets to big cities. She also wrote that she had 130 yuan, and secretly bought tickets to leave the place after the holiday. After all, it is a child. The diary is fragmented, very messy, and the words are naive. But everyone sees this diary and feels a lot. At that time, everyone was small and had very simple ideas. They all felt that Zhao Xiaomei was always wearing a suit, she didn't like to talk or clean, and she always picked up trash. Everyone looked down on her. Now that they are all over the age, they all lament that if they can go back to the past, they will help this poor little girl. Speaking of Zhao Xiaomei, everyone will sigh about Zhao's father and Zhao's mother. Mother Zhao performed well in prison. She was sentenced to 7 years and came out in less than 5 years. The first thing to come out was to dig up Zhao Xiaomei's grave and call Zhao Xiaomei a scourge. Today, Zhao's mother has re-established a family and life is pretty good. Father Zhao was sentenced to 2 years and was released from prison shortly afterwards. Later, his family relocated and made a small fortune, and married a young wife. Today, his 2 sons and 1 daughter are also Himaime. Because Qin Yun is now a big star, and he was at the same table with Zhao Xiaomei, and the relationship between the two is the best. When you chat, you always ask Qin Yun if those things are not. Qin Yun didn't know. Her family moved to another city after she entered junior high school. When she was a child, she had nightmares and was afraid of escaping, so she did not dare to inquire about the past. As if this way, she could pretend that there was never such a thing in her memory. Qin Yun was hit too hard by this primary school party. Everyone she can remember is better than before. But only she, the girl named Zhao Xiaomei, died so miserably and humiliatingly, and then became the talk of everyone. She wanted to cry, but felt that she was not qualified to cry. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 273. The emotion of Qin Yun was so real to the host. Moreover, the host became fine, and felt that Qin Yun had not reintroduced herself after suicide, but had been wandering in the sun, and it disappeared soon. Neither of the 2 most important girls in her life had a good end. Although the host is a grandfather Mao, it is a sentimental essence. After the soul source became stronger and stronger, he did not choose to continue to cultivate, but chose to exchange his soul source for another life of the 2 girls. If possible, the host hopes that both girls can live well. Just like ordinary girls, usually grow up, fall in love happily, then marry a child, and grow up normally. I have to say that Yan Ji has encountered so many hosts, and now this Grandpa Mao host is quite admired by her. Most hosts wish for themselves. Otherwise it's for the person you love the most. But this grandfather Mao gave up his cultivation and his own source of soul, in order to have two special girls in his heart. Probably because of this admiration in the bottom of her heart, Yanj didn't grieve anymore, but began to think about what she would do next. She couldn't move, couldn't talk, couldn't even smile, she could only lie there, passively waiting for Zhao Xiaomei to transfer her to Qin Yun's hands. The time point for entering is not good. In 2 days, she will be transferred to Qin Yun by Zhao Xiaomei, and Zhao Xiaomei will be killed by Zhao Mother. In these 2 days, even if she can find a suitable cultivation method with full horsepower, she cannot solve the crisis. How to do? The chicken is helpless about this. Should we just give up this task? It's a bit difficult. Instead of trying to fail, don't waste time and admit failure directly. Yan Ji was quite surprised by the blissful attitude of the chicks. What? Immediately she reacted, and they demanded that she immediately admit defeat. There must be an external reason. The mighty one is not in this plane. I have to say that one tree and one beast is quite kind of spirited. Well, it's not in this plane, said the cub. The mighty one isn't there, the beast will see you, or will withdraw it soon. Yan Ji didn't turn his head now, he would be swallowed when he met that beast. Yan Song does not want to retreat. The host's emotions towards the two girls were too deep, which led her to remember the two girls after merging the host's memory. She didn't want to retreat, she wanted to fulfill her host's wishes, and she wanted to reverse the end of the two girls. She asked the cub, "My current form should be suitable for practicing. You can find a few and try them. This is to continue." After the cub was silent for a while, he passed on some of the exercises suitable for soul source practice to Yanj. It felt that it was probably a little blind and confident in the wood. No matter what decision the guy made, it couldn't refute it. This habit really had to be changed. Suddenly a hysterical voice came from outside the door. "You're a to seduce your own dad. You are a beast. I should have strangled you when I gave birth to you. What are you glaring at your aging mother, aging my mother for you, and working hard to raise you up? How did you return me? You still look at me? Look at me again, believe it or not, and blind your eyes." It was Zhao's mother who was playing Zhao Xiaomei again. Everyone loves Grandpa Mao. Zhao Xiaomei is an introverted and inferior girl. No matter what Zhao's mother beats her, she will not ask for forgiveness or shout, but just stand there and let Zhao's mother fight. Even if Yan Ji can't see the picture of Zhao's mother beating Zhao Xiaomei, she can guess the situation outside from her mother's sharp gritting voice. In such an environment, Yanj could not calm down at all. She really wished that she would have a hand or foot immediately, or that the bricks could appear immediately, and then smashed Zhao mother outside into mash. Mother Zhao's scolding continued for a long time before she stopped. This evening, Zhao Xiaomei was unable to eat. She finished cleaning the house, and washed the bathroom of Zhao Mu and father of Zhao. Then she returned to her balcony space. Mother Zhao was afraid that she would not let her turn on the lights because she was too tired. She was so anxious that her homework was not finished, and she planned to carry her school bag to the stairs. It had been more than 12 o'clock until Zhao Xiaomei returned to the balcony again. It was not long before lying down, and Zhao's father returned. Zhao Xiaomei was obviously afraid of the father Zhao. When she heard the door ringing, her body immediately tightened, and she wrapped herself tightly with a quilt. She was praying in her heart over and over again, praying that Father Zhao would fall asleep after drinking too much today. But this wish is doomed to fail. Yan Ji heard the low whine cry of the little girl, and she could even feel that the little girl's eyes were looking at the roof at the moment. Her eyes were helpless and painful, but those black eyes seem to be still. There is so little hope and ease that no one else can detect. Yes, this girl, she has a few days to take the exam. She thought about buying a train ticket to leave the home after the exam, and the farther away from home, the better. But her hopes will eventually fall through. At any moment, the words of songs are as uncomfortable as they are now, as unfortunate as the bones of thousands of ants. She has experienced too much hostility and pain. Most of the time she is numb and most of the time she is transparent. But now, she couldn't settle down to practice. She had been listening to the girl's thin, weak cry. It hurts. Xiaomei murmured to her host before. That kind of thing hurts, it's like the body is torn in half, and it hurts so much every time. When she was crying, her father would scold her door star, and her mother would scold her for being cheap. So even if it hurts, she didn't dare to cry loudly, and didn't dare to resist. Later, it finally calmed down. Father Zhao felt that there were a lot of mosquitoes on the balcony, so he returned to the bedroom after the incident and asked his mother to wait for him. And Xiaomei, she wrapped her quilt tightly, and curled her head into the quilt. The quilt was shaking, and the little girl was shaking. But words can't even comfort. Sushi's mood fluctuated too much, and gradually later, Yan Ji calmed down and she began to cultivate. She wants to change the fate of this little girl. She must help the little girl. Because of cultivation, one night and one whole day passed quickly. However, Yanj still couldn't gather his own mental strength to give Zhao Xiaomei any hint. She tried various methods. Her mental strength could only be a little outside, but she couldn't affect others at all. How to do? How to do? It's too late to enter the plane. If 10 days in advance, wrong, even 5 days in advance, she will not be as weak as she is now. And, if it weren't for that slab, she wouldn't have been so weak. Yanj hurriedly scorched the fire, and hated the bricks to itch. The chicken pacified her. It's too late to come in, it's no wonder you are okay, even if Zhao Xiaomei is gone, and Qin Yun is still there. Everyone loves Grandpa Mao. The words were a stimulus comforted by the words of the chicken. No, one cannot be abandoned. 2 girls, she has to keep it. She forced herself to calm down, forced herself to meditate, and then continued to practice. Anger is useless and anxiety is useless. Only cultivation can help her to help the 2 girls. After leaving school, Zhao Xiaomei cleaned the room immaculately, and then went to Qin Yun's house carrying a school bag, planning to do homework with Qin Yun. She studies well. Qin Yun's math is not as good as hers. Because Qin Yun always feeds her, she wants to help Qin Yun to make up the math before the exam. Zhao Xiaomei didn't leave long, and her eyes were red again. Yan Song certainly knows why. She watched Zhao Xiaomei take out all the change. This little girl has her change hidden in different places. Although she is young, she knows the reason why eggs cannot be put in a basket. Yan Ji actually admires this little girl. Under such circumstances, although she is sad and painful, she has never given up to find a way out for herself. Zhao Xiaomei seized Yanj and stared straight at Yanj. After staring at it for a long time, she seemed to make up her mind. She bit her lip, squeezed Yanj and a bunch of loose money and went to the upper house of Qin. Yanj is still practicing, and he hasn't paid attention to the outside world. Although the cub understands that the state of affairs has entered the old way of the host's life, it also knows that the ability of Yanj to wake up is not useless. So it can only pretend to be dead. Yanj's practice was to withdraw from practice as soon as she made progress. As soon as she was awake, she realized that she had left the Zhao family and now she is here with Qin Yun. The Qin family's parents have already returned. Qin Yun is coquettish with her own mother and wants Mom Qin to pay for this dress. She thought, Mom Qin would buy another piece of the same clothes for her. By then, she could give Zhao Xiaomei the same seam, and she and Zhao Xiaomei would be able to wear the same clothes, and Zhao Xiaomei gave her the same clothes. That 100 yuan, she can also return it to Zhao Xiaomei secretly. She knows that Zhao Xiaomei has no money. Zhao Xiaomei will be very happy then. Qin Yun was very happy to think about it. Yanj didn't pay attention to what happened in the living room. It was dark outside the window, and it was night. This old neighborhood has good sound insulation measures, and Zhao's mother knows that her family is ugly, and she is afraid that others will know that she is a freak without a womb or a girl. The main thing is that Zhao Xiaomei's house and Qin Yun's house are not in the same place, so when Qin's family was enjoying themselves, Zhao's mother Zhao was scolding Zhao Xiaomei. The chicken cub was silent when he saw Yanj and simply asked, "How are you doing?" Its questioning was sinking in the sea, and Yanj did not respond to it. She didn't even hear the question from the chicken. At this moment, she was wrapping her soul with her own mental power, trying to get rid of Grandpa Mao's body. She has a bolder idea. At the beginning, the host turned on the magic trick, not because the host became Grandfather Mao, but because the refined little demon was scattered by lightning, and a little source of soul just happened to attach to Grandma's body. Since it can be attached to Grandpa Mao, Yanj feels that it can also be attached elsewhere. Although this idea is bold, the words have come true.